So what you want to do is tune this low E string down 2 notes until it becomes an octave of that D string. And the first song we're going to do is Black Water by the Doobie Brothers. 2 chords and a couple notes. So first of all, you hit the open A string and instantly hammer on to the first fret of that A string right there. Then leave it open, and you're going to play like an A 7th minor, I think it is, an A minor. Basically, you play an A minor and remove the G string. Hit that a couple times, and then go 3rd fret of that E string and sort of bend it up, and then hit it open and play a D major. And that's what gives it that power. So all together. Amazing. All that kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to show you that main part right there. It's the A minor with the low A string, 2nd, 3rd fret of that A string, and then you open D. Pretty cool. And then 3rd fret of the low E string, because you're really going from an A minor to D major to G major. And it does that pretty much the whole song. If you want to do chords, A minor, C, D, G. And it goes A major to like an A minor to G. Dun, 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 dun. A major, but the main part, as everybody knows, in A minor. It's in G major, and you begin here, any finger, but probably the first one on the open D string. Hammer it on instantly to the 2nd fret of the D string, then the open G. Then hammer it onto the 2nd fret and then hit the open B string. And when you hit the open B, if you can, use your thumb to hit the low G string. So this. And right after that, you can see I picked the open G and open D strings, parts of the G major chord. Then you go like this. Very cool. So you put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Just pluck those 2 together and slide it up 2 frets and back down 2 frets and pull it off. So I'm only plucking once. Watch this. And then you go back to the G major, sort of pick around and then hit the open B, 2nd fret of the G, open G, 2nd fret of the D, and then A minor. Now, I'm going to play the chords real quickly. You sort of just pluck around the A minor chord with that open B string to a C. And what's cool is if you play a C major, just slide it up 2 frets and you're sort of playing a D major, and you can sort of pick around those notes right there. So you start out with a capo on the 5th fret and you play it in E major. But that iconic intro that's super fun to play begins on the 8th fret of the G string. Use this finger right here, 2nd finger, and slide it up to the 9th fret of the G string, then the open B and open E strings. Like that. Slide it down 1 fret to the 8th of the G. Then you hit the open B and E again like that. And now switch fingers, go to this finger on the 7th fret of the G string, open B, open E, and 1 more fret down to the 6th fret of the G, like that. And the moment you do that, you go to a B7th chord, like that. You don't hit the low E note, you hit the 7th fret of the A string, 6th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the G string, like that. And you chime out these open B and E strings. And then it goes, well, that'll be the day to A major. All right, we're gonna shift gears and play Alice in Chains. Ready? rocking. Super cool power chords. You really only need one finger for this thing. Ready? You play a D major right there, but if you want, basically only hit the bottom 4 strings and go. So get some palm muting going. 2nd fret, and you only want to hit the bottom 3 strings, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and just pound it. Ready? So that first one's open, 2nd, 3rd, 5th is palm muted. Do that a couple times, then go to the 8th fret, like that, 7th fret, 10th fret, 9th fret, and then bring it from the 12th down right there, and you're rocking Alice in Chains super fast. E major right here, E major, and that iconic part goes 2nd fret of the high E string, and just pull it off to the open E string, 3rd fret of the B string, and you can pick it off there. Now, maybe he picks back onto the high E string, but I do that. So that's where we've gone so far. And then put your pinky on the 5th fret of the high E string and pull it off to the open E string. Do this 3rd fret on the B again and pull it off again to the open B, and then do it again. 2nd fret of the high E, back to the open B string right there, and this time you go to the 4th fret of the E string. And then do the 3rd fret of the B again, off. So all together. And if you go crazy fast, and then you go to E major, low part of the E to the high E, and then it goes into all this stuff. I'll show you that as a bonus real quick. Open E string, 2nd fret of the E, 3rd fret, 4th fret, open A string, 2nd fret of the A string, open A, and then 3rd fret, hammer it on, 3rd to the 4th fret of the A string, 2nd fret of that D string, and then you're still in E major. Okay, let's hit the last one. It's American Woman by the Guess Who in E major. Now this one has a couple nuances. Really, it's a couple janky guitars from the early 70s, and there's 2 guitars, I think. One of them's going like this. So let me show you that one first. 7th fret of the 7th fret of the low E string, 5th fret of the A string, and 7th fret of the A string right there. Back down to the 5th, and back up to the 7th of that A string, and then it goes 5th fret of the D string and bends it up like that. So like that. So that second time around, it sort of shortens it, slides down from the 7th fret. But at the same time, there's this guitar going something like that. So the way I played it was like this. I started off with the same notes, 7th of the low E, 5th of the A string, and slide it up to the 7th fret, and now you're in an E major bar chord right there. So open E, 7th of the A string, and then 9th of the D, G, and B strings, and you go and slide it down 2 frets, keep that open E going. That's like a D major, and back to E. So all together. Isn't that cool? Just try that a couple times over and over, and on that last one, slide it down. Now as a bonus, I'll give you this. Ready? American Woman. Very cool. Start on the 5th fret of the A string, 7th of the A string, and slide it up to the 9th of the A string. Switch fingers and go 9th, 10th, 12th of the A string. Now, take this finger, put on the 10th of the high E string, and then hit that one, which is on the 9th of the G string, 8th of the B string, and slide it up to the 9th. So, like that. Then you go like this. What is this? I always get them wrong. What? 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th of the high E string, 12th of the B, 14th, 15th of the B string. So all together. American Woman. Very cool, very cool. Hit like, hit subscribe on your way out, and I'll catch you around.